Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I'm your host, Davion, and I'm joined by Oronde.
What's happening?
And today we are back talking about some NFL. We got a lot to talk about today. Um, First we're gonna talk about the greatest, not the greatest. We're gonna talk about a team in the AFC, the New England Patriots. My team, the New Orleans Saints, just bounced them. Just played them, and he had a fair game. So, Orlando, looking at your Patriots, looking at your team, like, have you called it quits yet?
I called it quits last week because I
Before or after the
knew
game?
before
Oh, okay.
because I knew how many people we had hurt, and then we lost Gonzalez, we lost Judon, as I previously mentioned. Gonzalez is officially out for the season.
I
Judon's
saw.
out for at least 5 weeks of the torn labrum. Um, at least we're getting one of our young receivers, Tyquan Thornton, back, which is a great deep threat and mid-range threat receiver, which I'm very happy to have him back. But comes at a price. No one to throw the ball. Mac sucks. Zappy
He's
is
starting this
just
week as
the
well.
same as Mac, which I'm upset, but at the same time, there is no one better to do it. We
So
opened up the season competitive against the Eagles, arguably one of the best teams in the league. Competitive against the Dolphins, which is an offensive juggernaut. We held them to 24 points, might I add. No other team has done better. Then we beat the Jets, which we own Zach Wilson, but people are going to put an asterisk the Aaron Rodgers list Jets. But what do we expect from NFL fans? And then the despair starts. We lose our defense against the Cowboys and lose by 35 points. And then we put up a goose egg against the Saints because Mac is regressing. The O line is not giving him any time. They're also hurt. Our secondary is dead and hurt. Season's done. Season's over. We are going to get a top 10 pick at this point. Might as well, because our stretch of games does not get any better. We have Vegas next, which they pulled out a nice win with their defense against Packers. Then we get the Bills, and then we get the Dolphins. And I'm like, we're just gonna be we're gonna be 1-7 by week 8. I that's if that doesn't sound like season over to anyone else, it sure as hell does to me.
I mean, it's funny you say that because, like, I'm a Saints fan here, sitting 2 or 3-2, and I'm still like, all right, like, is this the real deal? Are we gonna be competitive? Are we gonna be a relevant team? Um, but then you look at teams like Carolina Panthers, you look at teams like the Cardinals. Panthers are still winless. And like it came out today, they asked Frank Reich, did you see what he said? Like, what's the
No, I
problem
missed
right
it.
now? And he goes, we have to do less. And I'm like, what? What do you mean do less? Like, like your team right now is 0-5. Hold on, let me read the quote out for you. He said, every coach would tell you when you're 0-5, do more. No, the answer is to do less. Every coach in history and in NFL history, hey, we're 0-5, we're 0-3, we're 0-4, do less, do less. Does that mean you give him too much? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know the answer to that. I just know we got to do better. And it's like,
I would like to bring up that Bryce Young is taking 12 sacks on the season and is averaging 5.2 yards per attempt.
listen, if he's gonna get sacked, so be it. But he cannot. That would you say 2.2 yards per attempt?
5.2.
5.2. That's not enough. That's just not enough.
You know what's crazy? The NFL has the Bears ranked lower than the Patriots, which I don't agree with. The Bears are a better team
Yeah, I
right
saw that
now.
too.
They do have the Panthers at the very bottom, which I think I the Panthers might be 0-5, but they're not Giants bad.
What happened to the Giants? We're talking about it now. What happened? Like I just don't like
They have a bottom 5 line in the league, and then their defense can't hold a wet napkin.
I mean, but they came into this season. I expected a
I
lot.
expect I expected a lot. So I'm being let down by the G
Yeah,
men.
me too. Me too.
But
And
they
it just doesn't
have
make sense.
and Daniel's hurt.
Oh, Josh, well, neck injury, isn't it?
Yeah, neck injury. They lost their tight end. They lost the guard. Speaking of guards, I have to go back to the New England injury report. Guess who's hurt? Cole Strange
Oh,
is hurt. The best player on the last best player on the team. He's questionable. They didn't even tell us why. Our linebackers hurt. Our safeties hurt. Another guard is hurt. Juju is hurt. One of our second string receivers are hurt. I I don't know anymore. But I did see online a lot of people talking about the Patriots finally suffering, and I'm like, of course we're suffering. It our time is up for a couple more years, but at the same time, did it have to be this bad? Can we not just deal with, like, I don't know, the Steelers and mediocrity? We didn't have to fall from grace like this. This is just pitiful.
me and you both know that when it rains, it pours.
It rain and pours,
And
unfortunately.
I think your season's over, and I think it's fine. I think if you got a first round pick,
I
you go get
I
that
don't
first
have a
round pick.
problem with it only because there's so much quarterback talent coming.
Yeah, there is. I think this is a lot more than last season.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more than last season and a lot better than last season. No
Yeah.
offense to Bryce Young. Shout out Anthony Richardson. If they would teach him how to slide. Oh my gosh, they
How did he
need to
get
teach
hurt?
that
I
man how
just
to
saw the
slide.
shoulder. I saw the shoulder injury. I didn't know what he did though.
He got if I remember right, I'm just about to pull up the clip and watch it again so I can just describe it to you. Because um oh, they put him on IR. He's out
Yeah,
4
he's out.
weeks.
Yeah, he's down, which I think sucks for his career. Like he has to be better at not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where's the clip? Oh, he was scrambling out to the right, got a couple of yards up the field, and then when he got tackled, he got hit and landed on.
Jeez,
And it honestly looked like it would have been a collarbone injury more than a shoulder, but still, he's down for the count. And
that
I had
sucks.
the Colts winning that game, and until he went out, and I was like, oh, dang.
I mean, but what's his face isn't bad.
Oh, Gardner Minshew, I love him. So
He's
I
pretty
don't
good.
I don't expect to fall off in production that much.
I don't either. Actually, dare I
Oh
say
wait,
it? I think
they still beat the Titans. I'm
yeah, they
talking out
won.
my butt, but still, regardless. Speaking of winning, the Ravens lost.
What do you think the downfall for the Ravens been? For me, like their offense just hasn't been able to click as much as that people thought.
Dude, their receivers cannot catch. They have
I
to
know.
hate this man, Lamar Jackson. They were dropping everything. Lamar threw a dime to Nelson Aguilar on a seam route, and he dropped it. Rashad Bateman dropped one. TJ Watt, now he did punch him in the mouth because he dropped it, but I was like, that was, why are we dropping easy catches? I've never seen so many drops since Kansas City week 1.
I mean, but he
Um,
should know. Don't even remind me of that.
and
That
speaking
was
of
so
speaking of
bad.
drops, can they drop Matt Canada? Bro was upset for the game winning touchdown, might I add you. Bro was upset that Pickett audibled out of a run play on I think it was like 3rd and 4. He audibled out of a run play and had Pickens run a fly route on the outside. Because it was one-on-one coverage. I think they were running cover 2. No, it was a zero blitz. Pickens realized it was Pickett realized it was a zero blitz because they had called it earlier in the game. Had George on an island and threw it up to George, and Canada was not happy. They showed the video of the booth, and dude didn't. No one, everybody celebrated, but Matt Canada.
Well,
Get
here
Canada out of there.
I saw him not celebrating. I didn't know it was an audible. I
Yeah,
didn't know the
he all
story to it.
Pickett changed that because they were, I think they were in I form,
Mm.
and um Pickett called out of it because it was zero blitz. He already know they did it to him earlier in the game, so he recognized it.
He's awful. Canada has to be quiet.
Canada sucks. He has to go. He is
And we know this.
actually holding back this team. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it all the ways. He doesn't deserve to have a job in the league.
No. And it's
It's like
obvious.
Amy Schumer and comedians. You're just there because you have pedigree, but you're not actually good at what you do.
I no comment. Bears finally get a win after 15 weeks. How about that?
Shout out the Commanders for the Kings of breaking streaks, whether it's good or bad.
They stunk it up. I'm so disappointed too.
Dude, shout out to DJ Moore for getting me like 45 fantasy points though. I still can't believe that game.
That makes me
Opened up the drive, 2 catches, 65 yards and a touchdown. He put up college numbers.
yes. Could you imagine if there was fantasy football for college?
Oh my gosh. I can't even begin to grasp how many points Marvin Harrison would have in a season.
Or like any of
Or
these
Jackson
dudes?
Smith and Jigba last season.
Man,
Remember the Rose Bowl game? Like 3 tutties, 300 yards, 10 catches. Like, what are we supposed to do about that? That'd be crazy.
are the Bengals back to being
The
to being
Bengals,
relevant?
they're
The
starting
Cardinals this week.
their back to relevance because Burrow looked more comfortable. He was actually using his legs and planning when driving the ball, when throwing. Mixon produced, and the defense showed up. Very, very proud of the Bengals. I'm very happy about that.
I agree.
Dobbs still had an average. He had an average game, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 170 yards. Went a little under half on his completions, but Burrow 36 of 46, 317, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Though James Conner did get hurt for the Cardinals, so that did hurt their offensive production. So that is something of note for them. And Jamar Chase is
Um,
back. Jamar Chase is finally getting back open.
like he
Well,
did last
I
week.
won't say getting back open, but
He's been open.
he is there. 15 catches, 192 yards, and 3 tutties.
Eagles advanced to 5-0. Not Commanders. The 49ers advanced to 5-0. Um, who are the better team in the East out of those two teams?
Niners, right? Well, not the East. Use me
Yeah.
the NFC.
Yeah,
The
East.
Niners. The Niners.
NFC.
The Eagles are still vulnerable because they should have put away the Patriots in the first game of the season, and they couldn't get away for more than a touchdown, which I still think they should have won that game, but that's a conversation for another day. Texans lost, which was very unfortunate. I wanted them to beat the Falcons, but good for them.
Yeah, now they have
And
to come into a vengeful game playing the Saints, which is stupid.
mm,
That just pisses me off. It's just the life of the Saints fan is just
and
awful.
upset of the week. Well, the other upset of the week was the Jaguars beating the Bills. Shout out the Jaguars.
Yeah,
I'm glad I had them winning because I don't know why they're kryptonite for random teams.
but why did what the Bills are to me right now one of the more inconsistent teams in the National Football League, and it just doesn't make sense what's going on. Like, why do you think they are one of the most inconsistent teams in the National Football League?
You know, you want to hear something real funny about this Bills game? Josh threw for 360 yards on 27 passes. You want to know who was their leading rusher for the Bills? Also Josh, 4 carries for 14 yards and a tutty.
It's like
They had 29 total rushing yards. 29.
and we've been saying this for a long time. We've been saying this for such a long time that if they got a running scheme, they will be fine. We've been saying this
The
for
Bills led
years
in
now.
yards per play, but the Jags completely outrushed them. They had almost 500 total yards of offense and 11 more first downs. How do you simply let the Jaguars outplay you? No offense to
I
the
said
Jaguars.
this.
They had a slow start too, but
Yeah.
I still wanted them to produce, but I did not expect this.
I said that
And
they both have these are two both playoff teams. These are two playoff teams, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
just one of those
definitely.
things where it's like who caught each other on the given day, you know? And
And
yeah,
the Bills are penalty ridden. So I don't know what Sean McDermott's doing, but they need to clean their act up.
he's the one that has to go for me.
Speaking of cleaning their act up, gosh dang cheeseheads. I picked against them, but I'm still let down by Mr. Love's performance. His one of his late picks, Watson got open for like a second or so because he beat Woods into the outside to the pylon, and Love took too long and underthrew it, and it was a pick. They
Yeah,
they still can't run the ball. Jones didn't play, and it just really hurt them. Also, I still hate that Jacoby Myers decided to be a real wide receiver for this one game. Cost me my fantasy win.
yeah, against me for one, and for two, it's not as this first game being. He played well last week too.
And whatever.
Because you know why I know that? Because he's on my fantasy team. So wait, one of the final things we're going to talk about the Detroit Lions, 4-1. Um, are you expecting them to make a deep playoff run this year?
They need to. I would say they
They
need
need
to.
to. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly do expect them to. I'm still rooting for the Lions. They're my bandwagon of choice for a second year running. Shout out Lillian, the resident Lions fan, but they deserve the ranking that they have. I believe they're number 3, 2 or
Yeah.
3. Oh, they have them 5th? Excuse me, NFL? The Lions are better than the Dolphins. Let's be real here.
What?
Let's be real here. The Lions are better than the Dolphins. Let's be real
Wow.
here.
That's interesting. You think so?
They dropped 42 without Amon Ross, St. Brown, and Jameer Gibbs, two of their better offensive talents, and still drop over 40 points. Now, I agree. Niners first, Eagles second, I guess, because they're the only two undefeated teams. Then they have Kansas City at 3, Miami 4, Lions 5. I think it should be Lions 4, Miami 5.
I don't hate either or, in my opinion.
I think it's fine, but I will root for the Lions over Miami.
Yeah.
Also, the Jaguars should be above the Bills. I don't know why they had the Bills underneath over the Jaguars. That doesn't make any sense. And the Cowboys should be out of the top 10 immediately. Immediately. Oh, there's so much wrong with this power rankings.
You know the power rankings are always biased.
They are.
Awful. Awful, 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 awful.
Well, that's it for me.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Listen, Saints, we big one this week. I'm intrigued. I don't know if we will beat the Houston Texans this week. I hope so. I hope our offensive coordinator realizes that his job was on
Y'all
the
are,
line,
y'all
and
are 1 point favorites.
I hope he realizes that his job is on the line, that he needs to continue to coach to the way he coached this week in order for this to happen. If this happens and he coaches the way he coached last week against the Patriots, we will continue to fight for our right to party. But thank you guys for joining. Let us know how you feel about your NFL team. And I have been your host, Davion. That's been Oronde, and this has been the post game. Peace.
Peace.